Hey, what is up, everybody? So I'm finally back with another video. I've been gone for like 5 days. I got sick on Sunday, so I've been sick the past few days, and I'd say I'm almost all the way better. Still not 100% quite, but I felt good enough to make a video, and there were some pretty interesting comments made by Rodgers yesterday in his hour-long talk with Pat McAfee, which I want to go over and sort of discuss what Aaron Rodgers had to say, but I'm excited to be back making some videos after 5 days. But first off, let me go over these entire quotes that Rodgers had to say. The most important quotes, I think, of his entire press conference that many people have already been discussing among the internet, and it has to do with his future here. He says this: "Do I still think I can play? Of course. Can I play at a high level? Yeah, the highest. I think I can win MVP again in the right situation. Is that right situation? Is that Green Bay or is that somewhere else? I'm not sure. I don't think you should shut down any opportunity. Like I said during the season, it's got to be both sides, like actually wanting to work together moving forward, and I think there's more conversations to be had." So clearly, Aaron Rodgers is open to playing on a different team. He didn't shut that door in the press conference after the game. He said he never likes to say never. So there is a chance that Rodgers will be fine playing in a different situation, but he still does believe that he can play at the highest level. And one interesting quote here I think is pretty important is a sentence where he says, like I said during this season, it's got to be both sides, like actually wanting to work together. Because we know a couple of years ago, Aaron Rodgers seemed like his, the front office didn't really value his opinion or really come to him with ideas or sort of see what his thoughts were on situations, certain players. And from that point on, it seemed like Brian Gutekunst and Aaron Rodgers started to have a much better relationship. Gutekunst brought in Randall Cobb, which was Aaron Rodgers' desire, and they started to seemingly more so work together. And so right here, it sounds like Aaron is discussing, that relationship and sort of it seems to me like he's contemplating if the Packers are really wanting to work with him going forward. And he mentioned it a couple months ago about how interest needs to be mutual on both sides. Brian Gutekunst said he doesn't know why he would say that. The Packers gave him the contract, planning to have him here for multiple years, and Gutekunst said recently that the Packers want Rodgers back in 2023. But for whatever reason, I still think there's some kind of maybe a miscommunication, maybe not. We don't know what they're saying in these meetings, and all we can do is speculate from the quotes here that Rodgers had to said. But he says both sides need to be actually wanting to work together. So maybe they don't fully want to do what Rodgers wants to do. Who knows? But that's an interesting quote there. Then he goes on right after that saying this: "I think no player wants to be part of any type of rebuild. I said that years ago. Reloads are fun because you feel like you're close, only a couple guys away. This game is about relationships. It's about the players you play with and count on. They don't maybe show up huge in the stat book. A guy like Mercedes Lewis, he's an important cog in the wheel of the locker room and the momentum of the team. That's a guy I want to finish my career with." So Rodgers doesn't really want to be part of a rebuild with tons of young guys. He wants to stick with some of the veterans, as he said, Mercedes Lewis. And let me go to the next part here. He said, "If I'm playing, I want that guy next to me. I want the Randall Cobbs of the world if he wants to keep playing in my locker room. Guys you can win with: Alan Lazard, Robert Tonyan, David Bakhtiari. There's a lot of interesting names that we'll see. Their desire to re-sign these certain guys who are blue guys in the locker room will be a very interesting conversation to be had. Take all that away, I still need to mentally get to where I feel 100% locked in and ready to play a 19th season. And if I do, then we'll rock and roll and figure that out. If I don't, then we'll go into the jungles for a while." So it sounds to me like Rodgers really wants some of these veteran guys back who have been here in Green Bay for a while. Guys he's close with, guys who there is some uncertainty with them, like Alan Lazard, who's going to be a free agent, like Robert Tonyan, who also is going to be a free agent, and Mercedes Lewis. And so it sounds to me like Rodgers is basically saying him and the front office need to discuss that, and Rodgers needs to see where the front office is at. Are they going to let these guys go and maybe build with more young guys and be more of a rebuild, or do they want to bring all those veteran guys back once again, which it seems like Rodgers really wants all these guys back? Are they willing to bring those guys back once again, maybe add a few other pieces to really reload instead of rebuild so the Packers team can maybe get where they need to go next year, maybe potentially win a Super Bowl? I think that's what Aaron Rodgers is wanting, and the question is, will the front office want the same thing? And I honestly think that if the front office doesn't want to keep those guys and they want to add some different young players going forward and sort of switch up this team here, I think Rodgers may say, if I want to come back, I may want to be traded because I don't want to go to a place where they don't bring back all my friends. That's sort of what it sounds like to me right now. Who knows exactly what the conversations have been, what the conversations will be. It sounds like there are lots more conversations that need to be had. But at the end of the day, of course, Rodgers has to decide if he wants to return. And from his entire hour and 12 minutes with Pat McAfee, I'm honestly pretty convinced Rodgers is coming back. The way he was talking, the way that he says he still thinks he can play at a high level, I would be pretty shocked now just from watching that if he just hung it up, to be completely honest. That's my opinion on the situation. And we'll see what Brian Gutekunst does, what the Packers decide to do, if they're willing to compromise with Rodgers or if they want to move on. And if that happens, then maybe they trade Rodgers. Who knows what could happen, but there's lots of potentials, of course. That's all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more content, more Packers content, feel free to subscribe. That's all I got for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.